So I've cycled 35 miles from north of Newcastle up Northumberland coast, and I found a lovely spot to sit and eat. And this spot has been used for people sitting and eating for thousands of years. And the reason why I picked it is because when the tide goes out, which it's starting to do, strange objects and memories emerge from the sea. It's quite unique, this area, in that there's a layer of peat that preserved a lot of stuff from that time. We were in a forest, and if we go up about 100 meters up the coast, you can see the trees that were preserved in the peat. And back down here, the peat isn't in the cliff, it's below the sand level here. And if we go investigate, we might find something interesting. Now this isn't rock, it's peat, and it periodically emerges and gets covered up by the sea. And archaeologists have found 7,000-year-old footprints, human footprints, in this peat. You know, is that a footprint? That space there has been, and then been washed out by the sea. Is that a human print? So a few months ago, we came up here because I was told the footprints were visible again. And I couldn't say anything because we got the tide times all wrong. Made me think, what about having a bikepacking tour, looking at some of the prehistoric features of Northumberland, some of which I've been to, some of which I haven't. So here we are. What are they? What are the ages? Paleolithic means a very, very long time ago. Mesolithic is these hunter-gatherers of this era, and then Neolithic is when we start to move into agriculture. The Bronze Age obviously arose with the development of metallurgy, and then the Iron Age, and it was at the Iron Age that the Romans found when they turn up and brought all kinds of technology and culture to these islands. It's beautiful. So I think it's a Hoyk Haven. I've been going around in circles here in Hoyk a little bit to try and find the location of Hoyk House, a Mesolithic Stone Age house, radio dated to 7,600 BC, so almost 10,000 years old. So this is would be some of the very, very first people who came to the British Isles after the ice retreated. They reckon the house was inhabited for about 100 years, and it was a scraped out basin with wooden poles and probably a turf roof, sort of like a flattened teepee. And a couple of years ago it would have been easy to find because there was a replica built here right beside the site, which I think again is over my shoulder behind me, to show people what it would look like. But unfortunately a couple of years ago some bored kids burnt it down, which is very unfortunate. The other thing that blows my mind a bit is at this time it was reckoned that the population in the UK was in the thousands, and the population of Northumberland, where I am, was maximum 500 people. Right, well that's the right of way there. This one's got the the most horrible sign, strictly no access. Do not ask permission to use this area. All such requests will be refused. But it's got a nice tarmac road, and oh, I have to go this way. Oh man, last second ride again. I should have put my leg warmers on before I ripped my legs to bits. Hey, typical bloody byway. Fantastic to start, pretty good at the end, terrible in the middle, almost impassable. Well, it's the 29th of July, so I'm cutting it a bit fine, but I'm okay. It's been a wonderful day cycling up the coast, mainly on the Coast and Castles route, but with a few commute extras. One being trespassing, although it didn't say private, no access on the direction I was going, only in the other direction. And and then that overgrown section as well, and my legs are still burning from being ripped to bits. I should have got my leg warmers on earlier. It's more full me. But yeah, it's been lovely. Campsites a little bit crowded. Us cyclists have all been crammed into this tiny little space right beside the playground, as in right beside the playground. Yeah, that's one of the reasons why I've come for a bit of a walk, was to sort of give myself a bit of space, but and serenity. And look at this, you know, you couldn't ask for a more serene place than this. It's this beautiful bay, which is renowned for its wildfowl. And the other thing is flint knapping, where Stone Age people would find flints and bash them to try and get a sharp edge. So I'm here doing wishful thinking, wondering whether that's an artificially chipped edge somebody might have been trying to make an arrowhead, possibly, or whether it's just a natural little piece of stone. I'm going to have to go back and make dinner soon and decide what I'm going to do for the rest of the day. So day 2, heading north, then west, then south again. See some more ancient sites, ancient monuments in Northumberland. Operations. So, Deado Stone Circle, surprisingly busy, given that few people have heard of it, and it's a good 500 metres walk from the road. It's said to be early Bronze Age. There were originally 7 stones, there's only 5 standing now. When it was excavated in 1890, they found bone fragments and the burnt wood, so it seems to have been some sort of funeral pyre or ritual cremation centre. Now this is Millfield Plain, It's renowned for its Bronze Age activity. So this isn't a real henge, but there are about half a dozen have been found buried in this area on Millfield Plain. So one of them, they measured it all up, they looked at where the posts would have been, wooden posts, and they recreated it here as a tourist attraction so we could actually see what's going on. But it's quite impressive. But you can see this is sort of the end of the Neolithic into the Bronze Age. You can see they're starting to do much more rich in the way of rituals. They're starting to build things, not just shelter. So it's a definite turning point. This is one of my favourite places in the world. This is Blaweary, and it's an old shepherd's hut, and the family who lived in these huts were famous for two things. First of all, despite the fact we're right up on the barren moors, they created a wonderful rock garden in the rocky outcrop next to the house. And the second thing is, the family left during the Second World War when the army requisitioned the huts because this was a training area, and they had this interesting collection apparently of ancient artifacts, and where some of those might come from, just over there perhaps. Let's go and have a look. So just a stone's throw from the houses, there is this wonderful Bronze Age burial cairn. When it was excavated, an amulet was found, but I think it was been well robbed over the years. As you can see, these burial chambers are where the bodies would have been interred, have been opened. Blaweary means tired of the wind, and they must have got tired of the wind, the family, because they didn't come back after the war, and the cottages have gradually fallen into disrepair, and I think they've in a worse state even when I first came here. Talked a lot about Stone Age, I've talked a lot about Bronze Age, but I haven't talked about Iron Age, and there's a reason why. There's a lot of Iron Age hill forts all around. I've been surrounded by them, but the clue's in the name. They were built on top of hills. On top of the hill we've got a bank covered in ferns, and if we climb this bank, then we find a ditch. And another rampart. Take some biting. deep. So you can see the outer and the inner ramparts here. You can see here that this wonderful viewpoint was chosen here during the Second World War. Yeah, these lands have seen a lot of history. Before I leave here, I have to show you one of Northumberland's great mysteries. Wow. Oh, those legs are getting tired. You see here, and here, and here, and here. These are called cut and ring marks. And they were carved in the stone. And nobody knows why. There's over 100 theories as to what these mean. Everything from doodles to my view, which is a map. I thought they might be hill forts. You might go, oh right, there's one over there in the distance if you head that way, you know, and that sort of thing. Only problem is these have been dated to the Bronze Age, so they're before the Iron Age hill forts. They could be Bronze Age palisaded forts, palisaded villages. So it could still be a map, but you actually find them in quite a few places across Europe. So it is a thing. It's not just a random doodler. Hey. No talking like that. No, you go back home. Go on. I kind of don't trust you behind me. Dog number 2. Hey! Stay back! Stay back! Go home! Hey! You go back home as well, you goofer. What a day. To be honest, I think I bit off a little more than I could chew. A lot of the stuff that looked easy on paper was actually really difficult, and I'm absolutely shattered, absolutely knackered. I think I could probably have done with one more bottle of fluids at least towards the end, but I just kept telling myself, well, I'll be there in a few minutes, I'll be there in a few minutes. So now I've got to the campsite. It's a field. It's a shame there's no seats because I'm going to cramp when I sit down. I've already drunk all my anti-cramp vinegar mixture. I had to have some at Blaweary, and I had to have some on the road just about 5k before I got here as well, because my legs were just locking up, and I've just taken the very last little bit and I can still feel twinges of cramp. So I'm not looking forward to tonight. Anyway, what I do tomorrow may depend on how I feel when I wake up, because as I say, that was a fantastic day, but I'm feeling absolutely dead. Okay, day 3, another glorious day. Though I'm not quite sure what to do, because I really did die a horrible death yesterday, and I've been a bit slow getting up and out of the campsite. Let's see how it goes. This is Clennell Street, an ancient drove road It used to be called Erm's Path, Eagle's Path in Old English. Now this area is completely covered in old remains. Don't know if you can make out in the top of that hill the ramparts of a hill fort there. Last stop, Lordenshaw's, probably the most famous place in the area for various bits and pieces that we'll see. Cup and ring. There's one there. Here's a more distinct one, that black lichen or whatever it is. The green lichen help make out the ring. So I think this is the Iron Age fort. Here you can see the ditch between the ramparts. This must have been one of the entrances marked with stones. So this was built about 350 BC, so before the Romans arrived. And you can see why they chose it as a location. Certainly commanding a viewpoint. So I think that's about it. Time for me to get back on the bike and head home.